So survivor's benefit is payable in respect of the death of the breadwinner of the family. And unlike insurance in the private sector, you cannot name a beneficiary for the purpose of survivor's benefit under the National Insurance Program. There are priority claimants, namely the surviving spouse, dependent children under the age of 16 or 21 and still in school, orphans, and parents in that order of priority. Now, the deceased person must have made a minimum of 150 paid contributions to national insurance. And in the case of the surviving spouse, the qualifying conditions are: one, the survivor must either be an invalid or, being over the age of 40, is incapable of economic employment other than domestic duties in their home, or in the case of the widow, she is pregnant by her late husband, or has a child of the deceased or theirs under the age of 16 or 21 and still in school, or has an invalid child. Survivor's benefit is payable to the surviving spouse, who would qualify, for example, automatically if she has a child of the deceased or theirs. So, for example, if the widow should die, the surviving spouse, if she has a child but the child is not of the deceased, then that child cannot automatically qualify her for the benefit. However, it does not mean that her child will not qualify as a dependent child. It's just that she cannot use that child to qualify her for survivor's benefit. So where there is a child or children under the age of 16 or 21, the surviving spouse automatically qualifies for the benefit. The board, in fact, will pay to the surviving spouse and as many as 5 children. If the spouse does not qualify, then the board will pay as many as 10 children. Where there are orphans, then we would pay an unlimited number of orphans. So, for example, if there is a surviving spouse and 3 children of the marriage, the surviving spouse is entitled to 50% of whatever the deceased person would have been entitled to for retirement benefit, and 10% for each child. Where there are children outside of the marriage, and if, for example, as I'd mentioned, there are only 3 children of the marriage that qualify, then the board may pay 2 children outside of the marriage. However, if there are 5 children of the marriage who all qualify for the benefit, and then there are children outside of the marriage, there's nothing the board can do for the children outside of the marriage unless and until one of the children of the marriage is no longer qualifies. So you can have a situation where, for example, one